Conservative media peeps, what's up? It's me, John D. Villarreal, and MMA fans everywhere. You know I'm the MMA expert, the 4-time national champion. Now, I've said it before, right? I've said it before, and I'll say it again, and now everyone needs to admit this in my personal opinion. Now, here's the deal. I've said before that in MMA, the two most important things, the first most important thing in any sports, it's physical ability. Being able, strength, speed, endurance, all that. Physical ability. Because you can't execute anything without physical ability, okay? And if you have better physical ability, you can execute it better. And impose your will on your opponent. The second most important thing, if you're going to, of all the skills out there, whatever like that, all the different forms, whatever, is wrestling. Wrestling, not jiu-jitsu, not Muay Thai, not striking. Those are all very important. Not boxing, those are all very important. But if you're going to have one thing, it's wrestling. And I've said it before, I believe I proved it before. But this weekend and recent MMA fights have clearly proven it, okay? I mean, you can look at the champions, whether it's Randy Couture before, Eastman Iceman, Chuck Liddell had wrestling, but definitely now, Dan Henderson now, and Cain Velasquez before that, Brock Lesnar, and you go on down the list. But this weekend, we saw a bunch of different fights that prove it. First of all, Bobby Lashley. We talked about that. Bobby Lashley was in horrible condition, in my personal opinion. All my personal opinion, not alleged, ain't facts, can't say aspersions, disclaimers. And, completely gassed out after the first round. And yet, he was a great wrestler, had, enough strength, and, kept taking that his opponent down. I can't remember his opponent's name, John Ott, maybe? I can't remember. So, won by wrestling. Then we have Mr. Wonderful facing Nogueira, right, at the UFC Fight Night in Seattle. And basically won with wrestling. Okay, he was kind of, the striking was, kind of close because he was doing some good kicks, if and that, whatever. But Nogueira was kind of maybe getting at times maybe the best of it, better boxer, whatever like that. And the guy just took him down. And because he was a great wrestler, he was able to defend against some of the jiu-jitsu moves and stuff like that. And he had control, and he won the fight. He won all 3 rounds on the judges' scorecard, most of them, or at least some of the judges' scorecard. And definitely won. That's the bottom line. And then also we look at earlier in that UFC Fight Night, Anthony Rumble Johnson versus Dan Hardy. Dan Hardy, dangerous striker, very good, whatever like that. Anthony Rumble Johnson, no bad striker either, a lot of power, stuff like that. But he basically won again with wrestling. We got the book on Dan Hardy now, which is he can't really defend the wrestling against top level dudes. That's one of the reasons why GSP beat him. And then you can look at GSP, and you can look at Cain Velasquez. It's the same thing. We look at former champion Matt Hughes. On down the list, you're going to find more often than not great wrestling or good, wrestlers more towards the top, because you can, if you're a great wrestler, not only do you have defense, this and that, and you have the strength and conditioning that usually goes with wrestling, but also you're able to impose your will on your opponent most of the time. You can very often get the fight to the ground if you're a dramatically better wrestler and or defend that and do something when you're on the ground. Now, of course, you need other things in the arsenals, no doubt about it. And there's been wrestlers that have gotten beat, no doubt about it. But I'm just saying, if you look at it now, I think it's very clear that, of course, physical ability, number 1. Number 2 is wrestling. I don't think there's anyone, or another way to put it is, if you're going to pick one martial art to study, or the first thing you need to have if you're going to compete in MMA, it is definitely wrestling. I don't believe there's any way around that situation. You tell me what you think, right? Comments below, subscribe above. I'm John D. Villarreal, and you're watching Conservative New Media.